guys, welcome back to my living room. I'm finally getting around to filming an updated Q&A video because my last one was done kind of in a rush at my parents' house and it wasn't the best quality, so I figured I'd do a new one and answer some new questions. And Cooper in the background sniffing the flowers, the fake flowers that I've added to make my apartment look more aesthetically pleasing. I'm not really like the kind of person who's responsible enough to have real flowers, so I got like fake flowers over there and right there. Anyway, getting down to the questions. I'm not going to be reading these questions in any particular order. I'm just going to answer them as I read them in my Ask box, so they are going to be very random and all over the place. How do you do your eyebrows? Well, for my eyebrows, I just let them grow naturally, whatever way they choose, and I just pluck the middle so I don't have a unibrow. I pluck them like every 2 weeks, I want to say, but naturally I have like a unibrow, and so if I don't pluck it, it will literally just be one, and I'll look like Helga from Hey Arnold. How do you stay motivated to work out? Well, I take workout classes, like I do Pilates, so there's an instructor. It's really hard to slack off when there's someone telling you what to do. But on the days I don't take classes and it's just me, it's definitely harder. It's definitely harder to find that willpower and get yourself to work out. But I'd say the best thing you can do is get a good soundtrack. Get some music that like pumps you up and gets you going. You know, I love everything from Hannah Montana to AC/DC, so it's just about finding like the music that works for you. I also find that sometimes I like to run to like the Transformers soundtrack, like the score. It's just like the orchestra music, and then I just pretend I'm in like an action movie. It's kind of dorky, but you know, it works. Can you speak any other languages? Je parle un peu de français. I can say a few words in French because I took it in high school, but you know, I went to public school, so wasn't like the greatest education, and I can't really remember much other than just like a few words and phrases. What's something you regret? I definitely regret just letting other people's opinion of me, like especially in junior high and high school, like affect me in any way and make me feel like bad about myself. I wish I just did not care what other people thought and I would have had a way better time. Do you want to have children? I don't want to have kids, and whenever I say that I feel like people are like, what? Because it's so like kind of taboo to be a woman and not want to have kids, but it's something I've known since I was like a little girl. I remember my mom would like buy me dolls and I just had no desire to like play with them. Like I didn't like playing with baby dolls. I always wanted like a teddy bear. So for me, like I definitely feel more of a connection to like animals. So I think for me, my calling is just to be like a pet mom. One day I want to have like a ranch and just adopt a bunch of rescue animals, because I definitely feel like I'm more for that than to ever be a mom. But don't get me wrong, I love kids and I'm gonna be like the coolest aunt ever. I'm just perfectly happy not having kids of my own. How do you have such a defined face? Well, that would be genetics. You can't really do much to change like the structure of your face. I've always kind of had a big square head, and yeah, I guess I get it from my dad, so thanks Dad for the defined face. Favorite SpongeBob episode? Oh, that's a hard question. I love the episode where like they adopt the baby clam. Is it baby clam or jellyfish? It's either one of those, but like Patrick is like the dad and SpongeBob's the mom, and then SpongeBob finds out that Patrick's just going to work and he's just watching TV and eating ice cream all day. I love that episode. What are your dating requirements? Well, to be honest, I've never really dated. My boyfriend was someone who I was just really good friends with before, so I'd have to say be friends with someone before you date them. I think it's a really great way to just kind of get to know them and build a relationship that's not based on romance, and then maybe later you can decide. Because if you just go into it being romantic right away, then you don't really know them. Like you don't really have a friendship. And I think some of the people who are in the best and longest relationships are people who are genuinely friends with each other and like spending time together, and it's not all just like looking into each other's eyes and showering you with roses. Like, yeah, that stuff's cute in movies, but in real life, you want to be with someone who you can have a good time with and be yourself around. What is the best and worst thing about modeling? I think the best thing about modeling is just like how proud it makes my parents. Like whenever I have a campaign or an ad that's in a store, my family will go take pictures of it, you know, tell everyone in the store, hey, that's my daughter. And if I'm in a magazine, my mom will go buy like every copy of that magazine at Walmart, you know, and then hold it up to the cashier and be like, this is my daughter. So I think just like making my family proud and being able to help financially, not only take care of myself, but also help out my family. So that's just been the incredible experience for me. The worst thing about modeling is the schedule is really unpredictable. I usually don't know what I'm doing tomorrow until like the evening when my agent emails me my schedule. So it's really hard for me to kind of like make plans or commit to things because it's very last minute. You get booked for jobs sometimes the day of. That's probably like the worst thing about it because it's just kind of hard to build a firm schedule. Do you think you'd ever go vegan? Well, I do have a tremendous amount of respect for vegans. I think it's an amazing thing. I just personally don't think it's for me. I mean, I'll definitely eat vegan food whenever I can. I just think I've tried a couple times to go vegan. It just never worked out for me. I know once I say what I'm gonna say, some vegans are gonna be like, oh, that's a selfish reason not to go vegan, but like, I love going out to eat with like my friends and family, and I love like cheese queso dip, like white queso from a Mexican restaurant is literally like my lifeblood. And I have tried vegan cheese and it's just not the same. And you know, life's short, so yes, I do think that being vegan is very respectable and an amazing thing. And I wish I had the willpower to do it. I just don't think it's for me. And I'm not gonna deprive myself, so I'm happy being a pescatarian just because that's what works for me, but I don't think I'll ever be vegan. What do you do when you feel stressed out? If I'm feeling productive, I will go for a run or do something to kind of like get out the negative energy, or you know, I will cry and then take like a power nap. There's two ways I handle situations, very different, but it's one or the other. How did you find Cooper? I adopted Cooper a little over a year ago. So I just decided to go to an animal shelter to look. As soon as I went to the animal shelter, Cooper like jumped up on my lap and like started headbutting against me and he was purring. I'm like, oh. So I adopted him and I'm so glad I did because it was the best decision I ever made. Definitely go to an animal shelter if you're looking for a pet. Cooper was 5 when I adopted him, and it's really hard sometimes for older cats to get adopted because people want kittens, but he's just like the sweetest, most chill cat ever. Really easy to take care of, and Scott always helps me when I travel, like look after him, and it's just the best. Definitely, I love cats, but I love dogs too. I can't decide if I'm a dog person or a cat person because I love both. How much time do you spend at the gym? I work out probably 5 to 6 days a week for anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Depends on the day and like my energy level. I mainly do like strength-based exercises, like body weight strength, like Pilates and stuff like that. I don't really do cardio. Every once in a while if I feel like having a good sweat. If I do cardio, I'll run if it's nice outside because I don't really like running on the treadmill. Or I'll do Zumba. I love Zumba. It is so much fun. I'm like the dorkiest dancer ever. Like seriously, every Zumba class, I cannot find the beat. I just look like Bambi on ice. I'm so tall and gangly and awkward. And there's like these old ladies who are like killing it, hitting every step. You know what? I don't care that I look completely ridiculous. It is so much fun. Are you religious at all? I definitely believe in God and like believe God has a plan for my life, and you know, I just try to live my life like Jesus, love everyone, not judge everyone, and you know, treat others how you want to be treated. So that's kind of like my motto in life is just like love, don't judge, you know? Favorite Disney princess? My favorite Disney princess is like a tie between Pocahontas and Ariel. I love Pocahontas because I think she's just like really badass, and like my childhood dream was to be like her and just like live my life in the woods running barefoot. I also love The Little Mermaid. That was always my favorite Disney movie because I wanted to be a mermaid. What's one piece of advice you want all girls to know? I'd say that like you matter and you have value, and no matter what other people say, they cannot take that value away from you. What made you realize you wanted to be a model? I got scouted, so this was kind of something that was like thrown at me. And I've just kind of been rolling with it, but I guess when I got to my first shoot and like I was in front of the camera, I'm like, this is pretty fun. Like it feels easy for me to move through poses, and it just felt like something that I was meant to be doing. Vanilla or chocolate? What kind of question is that? Of course, chocolate. Favorite eyeshadow palette? I love Maybelline's Blush Nudes palette, and I also love the Urban Decay's Naked palettes. I just really like neutral tones. How did it feel to record your first YouTube video? Really awkward. I'm like, what am I doing? Just talking to my phone. Very uncomfortable. I mean, still sometimes it feels a little awkward. I'm just kind of getting used to it more. How to flirt with a crush? I'm like the last person you should be asking this question to, because I do not know how to flirt at all. I just feel like I come across a little obnoxious or like awkward. I'm just not a very smooth person, and I never have been, and so I have no idea like how to flirt. If you could learn another language, what would it be? I would definitely love to learn Spanish. There's a lot of Spanish speaking people in the area that I live and in America in general, so I'd love to be able to communicate with them more. And I think also Spanish is just a beautiful sounding language, like it sounds so romantic, so I definitely would love to learn that. If you were on a desert island, what 3 things would you take? I'd bring my cat, my boyfriend, and an unlimited supply of Diet Coke. Who was your first celebrity crush? Probably like Nick Jonas from the Jonas Brothers when I was like younger. Yeah, I'd say that was my first celebrity crush. Favorite smell? There's this park by my house where I grew up, and the fields there, like the grass, like they have a very specific smell, and it just reminds me of my childhood and summertime. But that sounds really abstract. So like a more everyday smell that other people would know. I love the smell of lilac. What do you do to relax? Read, take a hot shower, or have a nice glass of red wine. If you could be any TV or movie character, who would it be? I have to go with either Buffy Summers from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because she's just so badass, you know, killing vampires and all other kind of monsters, or Dana Scully from the X-Files, because she's just a genius and just an amazing, you know, woman in general. How do you deal with rejection? Modeling industry, you see a lot of rejection. That's just, you know, part of the job. For me, I call my mom. She's like my #1 supporter, my #1 like motivator, and anytime I'm feeling down, I will just call my mom, and she, you know, reminds me how far I've come and just makes me feel like a little better about myself. When you're at a photo shoot, do they tell you how to pose, or do you just do it? It's more of like a natural movement. It's not really like poses. That's why I saw some comments asking for a video on how to pose. It's not really something you can teach. It's kind of like you have to know your face and your body and just be aware of your movement. So on a photo shoot, they'll tell me like the mood, whether it's like more editorial and edgy or more laid back and commercial, and then I just kind of move in that way. So they're definitely not directing every pose. It's more of they'll give me a general consensus of the looks they want, and then I pose in that way. What do you wear to castings? I usually wear all black. That's just kind of like the model uniform, like black skinny jeans, a nice fitted black shirt, and then like a leather jacket and boots. What is your ethnic background? I have no idea. My last name is Morgan, which is like as basic, you know, white person generic last name as it gets, and so I'm not quite sure. My mom's last name is Hamilton, which is also a very basic last name. Favorite dipping sauce? I can't choose between honey mustard and ranch, honestly. Like every time I go out to eat and I get fries, I have to get a side of honey mustard and ranch because it's like, oh, the best thing ever. Are your lips real? Yeah, my lips are real. Everyone asks that all the time, but I got them from my mom and I've had them since I was a little kid. I don't, you know, have anything against people who get work done. I just personally, I'm afraid of needles. I'm afraid of doctor's offices in general. So for that reason, I could never have any kind of cosmetic surgery, but that's what makes you feel confident. I say go for it, and you gotta do you sometimes. What do you get on your pizza? I'm one of those people, one of those freaks of nature who likes pineapple on their pizza, so I just get cheese and pineapple. Who's the most famous person you've ever met? Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I've met a lot of famous models just because I'm in the same industry and I've seen them at like parties and events like that. I'd say Helen Mirren has to be the most famous person I met. I went to a movie premiere for Women in Gold, which is one of her movies, and I got to meet her. favorite superhero? Elastigirl from The Incredibles. When I was little, like, I was obsessed with The Incredibles. I even had like an Incredibles themed birthday party. So I wanted to be Elastigirl so bad. I would even like do stretches in my living room, like trying to will myself into being able to like bend my arms longer so I could be like her. I was a weird kid, what can I say? What does your boyfriend do for a living? My boyfriend is a manager at a restaurant, and it's awesome because he brings me home like leftover food all the time. What do your parents do for a living? My dad's an engineer and my mom's a retired UPS driver. That pretty much concludes all of the questions I had from you guys for this video. I definitely want to do more of these Q&A videos every so often, so be on the lookout for them. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I will catch you on the flip side.